When Prince Harry reportedly sent a private condolence email to the Duke of Kent, a respected cornerstone of the monarchy, few expected it would be ignored. But palace insiders confirm the Duke never replied, a silence that cut deeper than words ever could. To Harry, it was a humiliating reminder that bridges once burned are not easily rebuilt. To the royal family, however, it was a clear and deliberate statement. Enough was enough. Harry's fury, sources say, was immediate. He lashed out privately, convinced that even the smallest gestures of outreach were being deliberately sabotaged. Yet the unanswered email was not merely about protocol or etiquette. It was a sign of how far Harry had fallen from grace, how isolated he had become within the institution he once represented, and how Meghan Markle's shadow continues to haunt every interaction between Harry and his family. It would be dishonest to frame Harry's estrangement as purely his doing. From the moment Meghan entered the royal stage, insiders recount, her presence was marked by controversy. She was bold, unapologetic, and openly dismissive of the traditions the monarchy was built upon. What Harry once saw as refreshing, the family perceived as corrosive. When the couple left the UK, they promised to step back, rather than step away. Yet from California, they have launched constant broadsides at the monarchy, Oprah interviews, docuseries, podcasts, and a memoir that has been described as both confessional and combustible. Each revelation widened the gulf, painting Harry and Meghan as perpetual victims while casting the family as cold and uncaring. The unanswered condolence email was thus not merely about Harry's words of sympathy. It was about the broader pattern. Every gesture, every line, every email filtered through Meghan's influence. The Duke of Kent, a man known for his quiet dignity, may have chosen silence not out of cruelty, but as a final refusal to entertain what he and others saw as yet another performance for the Sussex brand. The Duke of Kent, cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II, has lived through scandal, crisis, and palace intrigue. He has seen the monarchy survive wars, abdications, divorces, and betrayals. Through it all, he remained steadfast, never courting the spotlight, never airing grievances in public. So when Harry's email arrived, insiders suggest the Duke did not see it as a sincere gesture, but as an empty attempt to claw back credibility. He simply did not trust the sincerity, one palace aide revealed. The Duke has no interest in words. He believes actions matter more, and Harry's actions over the past few years have spoken louder than any condolence. The snub, then, was not pettiness. It was a deliberate act of principle. For the Duke, acknowledging Harry risked validating the chaos he and Meghan continue to unleash. Silence, in this case, was the strongest reply. Harry's response, as always, was emotional. Those close to him say he paced, ranted, and raged over the slight, interpreting it as yet another example of the family's cruelty. Meghan, however, reportedly viewed the snub differently. To her, every rejection is fuel. It bolsters the narrative of victimhood, providing fresh material for the couple's ongoing media ventures. Critics argue this is Meghan's long-term strategy, to keep Harry locked in a cycle of grievance, ensuring he remains dependent on her for validation. The Duke of Kent's silence, therefore, may have enraged Harry, but for Meghan, it was another card to play in their ongoing campaign against the monarchy. There is little doubt that Harry's life has been reshaped, and some say derailed, by Meghan's influence. Once known as the cheeky, carefree prince, beloved by the public for his humor and humility, he is now seen as perpetually angry, perpetually aggrieved, perpetually at war with his family. The unanswered condolence email illustrates the cost of this transformation. Harry can no longer reach out without suspicion, can no longer apologize without question, can no longer extend sympathy without the weight of doubt. For senior royals like the Duke of Kent, Meghan's presence means that every word from Harry is suspect, less a gesture of goodwill, and more a potential weapon in the battle for public opinion. The Duke of Kent is not alone in his stance. Across the royal household, a quiet but firm consensus has emerged. The Sussexes cannot be trusted. From King Charles to Prince William, from the Duchess of Edinburgh to the Duke of Gloucester, the sentiment is the same. They bring chaos, They bring division, they bring pain. One insider put it bluntly. For years, attempts at reconciliation have been met with fresh betrayals, a private conversation leaked here, a family event criticized there, a relative's words twisted for a documentary soundbite. The unanswered condolence email is thus not an isolated rejection, but part of a larger pattern. The monarchy closing ranks, weary of the Sussexes' endless cycle of drama. The unanswered email highlights just how isolated Harry has become. Cut off from the royal family, estranged from old friends, and viewed with skepticism even by allies, he now lives in a bubble built on grievance. Meghan is his constant companion, but she is also the architect of his estrangement. California offers comfort, but not belonging. Hollywood circles welcome him for his title, but whispers suggest he is seen less as an equal and more as a curiosity, the runaway prince who traded tradition for turmoil. The unanswered email from the Duke of Kent underscores this reality. Harry has a platform, but no roots. He has a voice, but no family. He has sympathy, but little respect. Royal watchers note that silence has always been one of the monarchy's most powerful tools. Queen Elizabeth mastered it, refusing to dignify scandals with response. The Duke of Kent's unanswered email is an extension of that philosophy, a refusal to be drawn into drama, a rejection of narratives built on conflict. For Harry and Meghan, silence is maddening. Their brand thrives on conflict, their power lies in playing victim, their income depends on perpetual drama. To be ignored is to be denied oxygen. And that may be why the Duke's silence was more devastating to Harry than any public rebuke could ever be. From the infamous Oprah interview to Netflix documentaries, Meghan has repeatedly positioned herself as a challenger to the royal order. She paints tradition as outdated, the family as cold, and herself as the voice of progress. Yet behind the polished interviews lies a trail of broken relationships, not just with the monarchy, but with her own family, including her father and half-sister.